My name is Max Carlin. I am a senior in the Sustainable Food and Farming program at the Stockbridge School of Agriculture at UMass Amherst. My project for the undergraduate research conference is titled Raising Heritage Livestock to Preserve and Increase Genetic Diversity. In this presentation, I'll discuss what heritage livestock is, how they pertain to the topic of genetic diversity, both in agriculture and on the whole, and also how individuals can play a role in increasing the genetic diversity of the livestock population. To start with, we'll discuss what are heritage breeds. Heritage livestock, or heritage breeds of livestock, are breeds that existed prior to the modernization of agriculture. Although the term heritage doesn't exactly have a scientific definition, there's a general consensus in the agricultural community as to what constitutes a heritage breed and what does not. Heritage breeds, as I said, are breeds that existed prior to the industrialization and modernization of agriculture. Heritage breeds are unlike more mainstream or modern breeds in the sense that they have not been intensely bred for one specific purpose, such as milk or meat or fleece. In general, they tend to be more well-rounded and therefore have been touted for their hardiness, disease resistance, and ability to thrive on pasture. Here we see an example of two different breeds of cow. On the left is a more familiar breed called Holstein, and on the right, a less familiar heritage breed called Florida Cracker cattle. Holsteins are a purpose-bred dairy cow that hail from the Netherlands and were not introduced into the United States until the mid-1800s. Many farmers quickly became impressed with their high level of milk production, and thus more and more started becoming imported. By the end of the 1800s, the Holstein Association of America had been founded, and by today, there is now a population of over 226 million worldwide. On the other hand, Florida Cracker cattle were the first group of cattle introduced to the United States, or to the North American continent rather, by Spanish colonists in the 1500s. They were established as a wild-ranging cow, and have been shaped primarily by natural selection to survive well in hot, high disease, low forage environments such as Florida and other states in the deep South. As modern farming practices became more prevalent and larger population breeds became easier and cheaper to attain, however, the population of Florida Cracker cattle diminished. Instead of having a large population like the Holstein, today, there are only about 38 farms in all of the United States that still raise Florida Cracker cattle. This leads into the topic of genetic diversity. Genetic diversity, simply speaking, is the number of different alleles within a species and can be measured in various ways, including a species population and differences within that population. Genetic diversity is usually attributed to determine a species' longevity. The genetic diversity of animal agriculture is an incredibly important topic as there are many disturbing trends that show a decrease in the diversity of livestock. Throughout the last approximately 150 years, we have seen more modernized, highly productive breeds with larger populations, like the Holstein, replacing more localized breeds who have smaller and less widespread populations, like Florida Cracker cattle. These trends have led to about 20% of all 7,600 registered livestock breeds on the planet today being listed as endangered or threatened, and almost 100 breeds of livestock going extinct between 2000 and 2006. On another note, as more and more localized breeds become replaced with more mainstream breeds, there is an increased concern for things like disease resistance to become less effective and ease of transmission to increase throughout the entire livestock population. Instead of having a variety of breeds with a variety of genetic material existing in different places, the same genetic material exists all over, making it much easier for certain diseases to adapt and infect larger amounts of livestock. This leads into the role that we as individuals can play to increase genetic diversity within the livestock population and help to keep heritage breeds from going extinct. As a consumer and individual, You can play an active role in preserving the genetic diversity of livestock and preventing the extinction of many breeds on this planet. There are a few simple things that you can do if you want to help heritage breeds. One way, from the perspective of a consumer, is to look for smaller local farms that are raising heritage animals and selling their products locally. Pay attention to things like their websites, where they list information about their livestock. Frequently, they will list the breeds that they raise, and those breeds can be checked against the list of heritage breeds on the Livestock Conservancy website. If you would like to take a more active role in preserving heritage stock, I heavily encourage it. One of the biggest problems with preserving livestock breeds is that the only way to preserve them is to actually raise them. Unlike plant species, which can be stored in a seed bank, livestock have to be raised and cared for so that they can breed and continue the population. By simply researching heritage hogs or goats or sheep or even poultry, reaching out to a breeder and keeping a few in your backyard, you can help to preserve the genetic material, excuse me, you can help to preserve this genetic material and keep important lines from going extinct. Agricultural livestock are one of our most important natural resources. They make up 4% of the Earth's biomass, or 4% of all living things on this planet. We are quickly seeing the diversity of that population shrink, and we need the help of individuals like yourself to preserve them. If you are curious to learn more about these heritage animals, or how you can get involved with their preservation, there are a variety of resources that you can check out, such as the Livestock Conservancy website or your local university extension. On another note, reaching out to local farmers that raise heritage animals can also be a great resource. They care about preserving these animals and want more people to get involved in agriculture, just like yourself. Thank you for listening to my presentation. Here you can see a list of works cited. And if you have any other questions or you want to learn more, I highly encourage looking at the Livestock Conservancy website, which is a great resource as they list all heritage breeds registered in the United States and around the world.